how can you get AI to update a map of your product using Claude Code? So if you have an app that you've built and you've designed inside CodeSpring, how can you actually get the AI in Claude Code or Cursor or any agent to update your plans? So Stuart is using CodeSpring at the moment, and he just did a post on getting everything set up inside CodeSpring, and he used our business discovery engine. So we have a full tutorial on how to get that set up. I'll just show you. But he just asked me this question, so I thought I'd make a full video on this for everybody else. He said, if I wanted to change the niche, can I just iterate with it, or do you have to go back to doing this? So this thing here is our business discovery engine. I recommend reading this post and watching this video inside the school community. So here's what you can do. So I've just got an example project here that I'm working on. It's called the Money Leak Finder. So if you wanted to change anything about the project now, because you've installed CodeSpring, all you can do, if you haven't actually installed CodeSpring and got it set up, we can just copy all of this. We can come into Claude Code and say, can you make sure that we are set up with CodeSpring and connected with CodeSpring? Can you make sure that we're connected with CodeSpring? And then we're just going to copy this, paste this, and I've already got this set up, but this will probably, if you haven't already got this set up, then you'll need to do this. If you've already done the business discovery engine, you should already have it connected. So we're just going to send that through, and it's going to go ahead and check if we are actually connected with CodeSpring. Okay, so just like that, you can see everything's installed. So I'm just going to now say, I have this project that I'm working on called the Money Leak Finder. What I'd like you to do is add some new features to it. So I want to add a new feature which allows me to connect it directly to my meeting recordings. Can you go ahead and add a new feature inside CodeSpring for that for me? And then actually, can you just add a note that's attached to this that will explain how we're going to do this, what the meeting recording thing does and why it works. So really what you're doing here, I'm just going to send that through and I'll explain this a little bit. So what we're doing here, in the case for Stuart, right, where he wants to go ahead and change a niche, right, for his project. So if we come into, I'll find Stuart's post inside Wins for this product here. So all of these different products and features that you have here, if there's anything you want to change about any of them, the easiest thing to do is you can actually do this inside CodeSpring. So you can ask in the chat here, you could say, can you add a new feature for me, right? Or you could say, if I right click on one of these, okay, and I click on add to context, and I could say, in the find money link feature, can I update XYZ? Okay, and then it would go ahead and it would update it. Now, I recommend, this agent is fairly good, but it's not as good as using something like Claude Code to do this. So what we're doing here is we're actually using Claude Code's AI to actually update and change our plan. Now, the reason we like to do this is because it means we can actually visually see what our plan is, but instead of having to manually go in, because you can actually edit this and you can manually change things. You can also do, for example, if you're working on a specific feature, if you do Command K, you could do Money Leak Finder, and you could see here we have a feature that we're working on, and you can see it's this one. So anything in this note here is for that specific feature. So we could edit this manually, and we could write some information on it. So we could update and change this in here, and then save it, and then now your project is up to date with the new changes. However, we can actually do this a lot quicker, and we can do it sort of a lot more powerfully inside Claude Code. So we can actually do this in bulk. So what it's doing here is at the moment we have 5 different features. It's going to go ahead and add a new feature for us down here. So you can actually get Claude Code, and it works the same with Cursor as well. If you go ahead and watch, I just did a video, if you go onto YouTube, or actually if you're in the community, I just did a post, if you come into general discussion, no, it's not. It's inside, come into here and come to CodeSpring help. I've just added a video into here, so see how to actually, this video here walks through exactly how you can use CodeSpring, so it's worth watching any videos that I post inside the CodeSpring help section of the community. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not part of the community, I will leave the link down below to join the community. So this has now gone ahead and it's done. It's created a new feature, connect meeting recordings inside CodeSpring. So if I come to my CodeSpring account, and you can see here I have 5 features. If I refresh the page, it's now created connect meeting recordings. So it's added a new feature for us. So new input source for Money Leak Finder. Instead of pasting a transcript by hand, the user connects a meeting recording tool once with every new sales, or blah, 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 blah. So it explains how that feature works. And then I can do Command K on my keyboard, or you can just click up here to navigate. And then we can look for connect meeting recordings. And you can see here it's taken us to this note. Now, if everything's getting a bit chaotic, we can also just do auto layout, Command S to make sure you save it. And then we can just do meeting recordings again. And it'll take us to where it is, what we're working on. So then you can read this and see any updates and changes. So this is a really nice way of being able to see, okay, how we're updating and changing our plan of our app visually before we then go ahead and start building it. And then when we want to start building it, if we want to, we could say, for example, come into Claude Code and we could say, can you just break down this feature a little bit more? Can you add a sub-feature node to this feature? And just basically add like the step-by-step user journey features that make this feature work. How would they use it? How would they connect it? What features do we need to build in order for this feature to work? Can you just add that in as a sub-feature to the connect meeting recordings feature? And then what this should do is actually add more detail to that. So it's a very good practice to get into, to continually add more detail, because then that means the AI is much more able to, or you're much more able to understand the plan for your app and how your app actually works and how the whole thing actually goes together. So I'm just going to wait for that to be done, and what we should be able to see is when we come back into here for this feature, we should be able to see a lot more information has attached itself to this. And again, I say it's very, very important at this point that we actually spend some time properly reading through what it adds to the mind map for us. One thing you can also do is you can actually talk to the chatbot here. So you could say for this feature, so if you right click on something, so if you click on this here and you click add to context, it'll add it to the chat, and then you could say, can you actually add some sub features to this? And I've just actually written them down, so I'm just going to click on send, and what's going to happen now is CodeSpring is going to add more details to this specific feature. You could also do this manually by clicking the plus button and then click on sub features, and what it would do is it'll add, when you can just add it manually, but I'll let the AI get on with this and I'll show you what it's done once it's done. And there you go, just like that, it's added some sub features. So these things here are specific features on how that feature works. Now, I would say here be very careful, because you can see what it's done is it's added 24 different features. So it's broken it down very, very granular. So what you probably want to do is go through and actually just read these things and see, okay, does this actually make sense for how my feature works? And you can scroll through here, and then what you can do with each of these is, if you want to, you can actually sort of right click on it and add a bridge. We can call it feature, I don't know, transcript analysis. And then from that, we can actually then add a note. So we can auto layout again, and then we can add a note on how that works. So X, Y, Z, for example. So we could do, if I do Command K, right, if we do feature, we've got feature transcript analysis here, so we can zoom in and find this easily. So for example, if we were to come back, and remember to always do Command S to save, and we want to find what we're working on, do Command K, feature transcript analysis, and then it will just zoom in to whatever it is we're working on. Or we'll come up with the thing is we added, it was the connect meeting recordings, I think. So we could also do Command K, connect meeting recordings, and it'll take us to the feature that we're actually working on. So hopefully that helps. If you want to use CodeSpring, again, all you need to do is go to codespring.app and create your account with CodeSpring.